Hey everybody, how you doing? Well, that's good. Welcome to PHLY Flyers Postgame, presented by Bet365. My name is Bill Matz. I'm your director of fun and games for the evening. Joining me live in the Xfinity Mobile studio, it is our friend Petey, Steve Peters. Well, we kind of knew what was going to happen in this one. We hoped for a quick start, didn't get it, but we knew this was going to overtime. That's 4 out of 5 starts for Sam Ersson in overtime now, Petey, but not quite the result we were looking for.
We said it before with Ersson is going to go to overtime. Ottawa's now played 4 straight overtime games. This was tough. We talked about their start, and the first period wasn't good. They weren't good in the first period. They didn't get offensive opportunities. They gave up 2, found themselves behind. So let's give this team some credit for being able to battle back from a 2-goal deficit at home and be able to battle back and get some points out of this one. It's unfortunate that you don't get the win in overtime because for the second half of this game, it wasn't close. Like, the Flyers were a much better team for the second half. They didn't get shots on goal. They were phenomenal. So it's unfortunate you don't come away with a win. But being able to battle back from a 2-goal deficit, that's something you didn't see this Flyer team do a lot of last season.
No, they do have. They have shown an ability to come back this season. They do it to get at least 1 point today. They fall behind the 2-0. And then from really like the 30-minute mark of the game on, it's all Flyers. They gave up 2 shots in the final half hour plus of game time. It was really, really a phenomenal defensive effort. And then, the possession game, that's good. The game tying goals, that's wonderful. But if they show up a little bit in the first period, we are talking about 2 points in a regulation win. It's becoming a little bit of a trend. We've seen it in both Nashville games. When this team starts quick, and maybe, listen, when they've started quick, they've petered off in games. So maybe this is the lesser of 2 evils. But what did you see early in this game that they were able to kind of reverse as it went on?
Well, it's the things we talked about. We wanted to see them getting in on the forecheck, dumping a puck in and going after it physically. They didn't. They allowed Ottawa to break out too easily out of their zone. And then Ottawa was the one that was able to create turnovers in the Flyers' defensive zone and get pucks at the net. I mean, you look at the Flyers' first shot was at the 13-minute mark of the first period. So 7 minutes, down 2-0, and they still have a shot on goal until finally Konechny gets the first 2 for the Flyers. So they had one guy going, and it's not just throwing pucks to the net. I know we talked about quality versus quantity, but they have to have the puck. And it felt like that first 7 minutes, they didn't have it. They couldn't get to it. They didn't win foot races. And it's all about, we talked playing at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know what time is the game. Was it 1 o'clock? Yeah, 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
I'm old. I don't have a watch. They did not come ready to play. And that's frustrating for a coaching staff, because when that puck drops, you want to see some of that, just their feet moving. I'm not even talking about getting goals. It's about getting their feet moving and being quick on pucks and being physical and being able to create turnovers. They didn't do any of that in that first 10 minutes.
They were really, really struggling to string some passes together. The breakout was, I don't even know if we can refer to it as a breakout, because it didn't break out anything. It was really just like, okay, we have the puck and here you go, Ottawa. That was basically the breakout strategy for the first 10, 12 minutes of the game. But to their credit, like you said, they are able to flip the switch, and then all of a sudden, it's only the Flyers. They only have the puck for the second half of this game, and that is a skill to be able to turn it on like that. But if they could have just got this going, and really, it's a disappointing effort to me for the start, even though the second part of the game was so strong. And listen, 3-on-3 things happen. We're going to break that down a little later. The game-winning goal Tim Stützle scored in overtime, but that's kind of the nature of 3-on-3. Really, is it's not quite the coin flip shootouts are, but a lot of room out there. Stuff happens, but really, it's a strong, long stretch of the game for the Flyers, and you see, like, they win the shot battle 22-13 when, as you said, they didn't have a shot for the first 10 plus minutes of the game. They never had the puck. They couldn't break out, and then all of a sudden they're in control for most of it. The penalties, once again, were a little bit of an issue, at least early in the game. They did clean it up as the game moved along. Only the 2 power play opportunities for Ottawa. Good to see there. Of course, as we see, Claude Giroux gets his point, as he always does against the Flyers,
Yeah,
Petey. This
he
is
does.
something I wanted to ask you about, since I see him here on the tail of the tape Brenna puts together for us. Like, in general, how do guys like feel about playing against their former teams? Is it as much of a conversation as like we make it out to be?
Absolutely, without a doubt, because what will happen in the team meeting before the game, they'll go to Claude Giroux. Is there anything else you want to say about the Flyers? Now, he may throw something about a particular player, or he might just say something about, we got to do this. And I don't know, there's no gambling in hockey, but we talk about money on the board. Do you guys talk about
Yeah.
money on the board? Is that a thing? The money on the board?
Yes, yeah.
So I guarantee he had money on the board against Philadelphia Flyers, because you go into your old city. I don't care if you played junior there, college there, or pro there. You're putting your name on the board in the city that you have been at before. He had money on the board, and this means a lot. It means a lot to do well against a team in a city that he meant so much to. So, yeah, you could book it. He's going to score. He's going to get a point against the Philadelphia Flyers. And I think you could say that for a lot of players that go back and play the team that they spent most of their career with.
It does seem to happen often. Giroux has at least 1 point in every game back in Philly. I think he has like 14 and 12 games against Philly overall. So he has gone but not forgotten. Claude Giroux from Philadelphia, absolutely. I want to talk about the goaltending tonight with Sam Ersson. We mentioned, well, obviously, it's going to be, we're going to get some OT, because 3 of his 4, now 4 of his 5 starts have gone to overtime. But he not well supported on the early 2 goals. I mean, the second goal, the Amadio goal, I believe. I mean, he's just on a little stroll through the center of the ice. Let me get the puck over to my backhand. All right, I'm going to wait out the goalie, put it by him. I mean, there's just absolutely zero coverage on that goal. But when you see the low shot total and then 3 goals against, you're like, man, that's a rough line right there. A 769 save percentage, Petey. What'd you think of Ersson tonight?
It's tough. We wanted him to play well today. We talked about how coming off of the the injury, we wanted to see him play well, and unfortunately, 2 goals in the first 6 minutes of the game, and not his fault. Like, Brink turns the puck over along the wall to Greg, and it goes off his mask and in. That's unfortunate. Might have missed the net if it doesn't hit him in the head. And the Amadio goal, you made a great point there. Like, that was just a neutral zone forecheck to get the puck from where they had it to where it has to go into the net. They got to get through 5 Flyers. And that should not happen that easily through the middle of the ice. So, not his fault there. And the overtime winner, dude, that's not his fault either. His numbers, horrific. 3 goals against on 13 shots. That's really, really bad. But the biggest save he had to make was a minute and a half left in the game.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen the puck in 27 minutes. Not 1 shot on goal. And then he's got to make a really in-tight backhander.
I was really, really shocked once. Yeah, we're making a big thing. It's on Twitter. It's on the broadcast. Like, they haven't had a shot in forever.
It's
like,
unreal.
Sam Ersson could have gone to the bathroom and come back and been like, "Oh, I grabbed a sandwich, boys. Catering's out already." Like, he could have easily taken a little nap in there and saw absolutely no action outside of like 1 post, I think, right after the 1 power play expired. But it was, and then all of a sudden, here is an actual chance against you. So I did give him credit for that one. It just seems like a thing with Ayers for some reason. Every game, I'm like, I don't know. He was better than his numbers, but the results keep being the results. Like, it just keeps being a 769 save percentage. Like, I'm starting at this point. Like, somehow they only gave up 13 shots when they gave up, 6 in the first 5 minutes. And he's kind of the victim of them turning the defense on after it being non-existent early in the game.
And it goes to what Rick Tocchet wants his team to be. He wants his team. I know we keep saying about his shots for, but the shots against is what this team really wants to be known for, is their ability to defend. That's the fewest shots they've given up the entire season. 13 shots on goal against. That's insane. And that's with an overtime game. So for their ability to shut down the Ottawa Senators and keep them to that low shot total is incredibly impressive. I don't care what I know it's an overtime loss, but to keep your opponent to 13 shots on goal, a team that does have have the ability to put up some numbers. I know they've got some injuries and that's hurting them, but that's something when you walk away from a game like this, okay, that's a positive. If we were 2 for 2 killing penalties and we only gave up one shot, that's a win. So you're starting to see some of the little things that you want to walk away from a game like this. Go, hey, this isn't all bad. We lost, but and I think that's important that you take some of these positives out of a game that honestly you really wish you could have ended up with 2 points out of.
Yeah, it's a little disappointing they don't come away with 2 points when you battle back and force the overtime. It's okay, we started a new game and maybe we can put that slow start behind us. But when there's a breakdown, and listen, there are going to be breakdowns, especially in 3-on-3. But if you start a little faster, it never gets there. And that's kind of what I'm feeling about this one. A little bit disappointing. It's good. Listen, they've got 5 of the last 6 points. They've been playing overall some decent hockey. There have been stretches where it's a little slow, where they haven't had jump to start games. But it does feel like they're playing pretty well overall right now, if I had to give my assessment. And that's the thing this team's going to have to deal with, I think, is the changing expectations as the season goes on. I spoke about this with Charlie a few days ago. First 3 games, they're 1-1-1, but they played tough against Florida and Carolina. They played 2 against the defending champs and 1 against Carolina, who's had their number for years, and they looked competitive in those games. They win one of them. All right, I'm happy. And then they looked not great for a little bit. Oh, now I'm mad. They win a few, expectations back up. And now with this team trying to turn the corner, come out of the rebuild, like that's just something they're going to have to deal with, is these evolving expectations for them.
Yeah, and this is points in 6 of 8 and points in 3 straight. And I know, again, I'll say you give up 13 shots, you want to win the hockey game. Yeah. But this is a Flyer team now that's gathering points. And, you have 14, 15 games into the season and you're putting points in the bank. Again, it's positive. Like compared to where the fan base was a year ago at this time to where they are now, you expect to win game. You have hope that you're going to win a game. You go, hey, we're down 2 goals, but we're the best team in the National Hockey League at being down after 2 periods and coming back and winning. There's hope. That goes a long way. And I know you want to get a win, but the point today was big. And now you've got a team in the Edmonton Oilers coming in that's going to get a heck of a lot more shots than the Ottawa Senators did. They're going to play faster than the Ottawa Senators do. You're going to have a whole new game coming in here in a couple days. So it's good you got something out of this one.
Yes, absolutely. It is. It's good they're playing strong defense. They are going to need to. Edmonton always starts the year slow, but we know what kind of firepower they have, and they can flip that switch at any time and be like, yeah, we just dropped 8 on you because we have 2 of the 5 best forwards in hockey. So it is good to have a little bit of some points built up and some good defensive games in the bank as you head into a game against the Oilers. Matvei Michkov scored tonight. I want to get into his game and what you're seeing out of Michkov on the other side. But first, we got to take a quick commercial break. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And look at that. We got both of our bets to hit tonight. We got the Claude Giroux to record a point, and we got Bobby Brink with over 1.5 shots on goal. He actually had 3 shots on goal tonight, so we're on a little bit of a hot streak. This was an easy one with G in town, but the early payout offer, no team opened up a 3-goal lead today, but any NHL game, when you bet a team on the money line or if you make them part of your parlay, guess what? All they have to do is go up 3 and you're automatically a winner. Don't have to sweat out the entire game. It's that simple. And we have breaking news from Bet365. New customers now get $300 in bonus bets when you bet just $5, win or lose. All you got to do is sign up. Use code PHLY365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $300 in bonus bets, whether your initial bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Bet365 must be 21 plus and physically located in PA. If you or someone who has a gambling problem and wants help, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Now it's time to tell you about Elkins Chevrolet. You know it, Flyers fans. Elkins Chevrolet is dishing championship-level car deals every single day right there on Route 73 South in Marlton, New Jersey. The three brothers who run the place, Jason, Adam, and Josh, they're there every single day in the store working to make sure they have a huge lineup of Chevys at the best price and providing that honkin' good service. There's no missed shots, no drama, just real brothers running a local business and backing every deal like it's the championship game. So if you're in the market for a new Chevy, make your next move to Elkins Chevrolet. Real brothers, real deals, and a whole lot of honkin' good service. Shop now at ElkinsChevrolet.com. Together, let's drive. All right, Petey, the Matvei Michkov of it all, as we always like to say. He scores. He now has goals in back-to-back games. He looks like he's finding his way offensively. Loved the play he made to get the goal tonight. Carries the puck behind the net, loses it into the corner as he and Jake Sanderson are rushing for the puck. He just creates a little room for himself by pushing back against him, comes off the wall with the puck, carries it in, shoots and scores. That's the type of play I need to see at him. He's not a huge guy, but he is a pretty strong guy, and that's what we need to see him create some room for himself as teams have really tried to take away his time and space this year. But it still seems a little easy to knock the puck off his stick. He just had some plays where one swipe and it's okay. All right, loose puck now. We have to have a battle. What are you seeing out of Michkov right now?
It's exactly what you said. It's not consistent when he's on the ice. What he did to score that goal, the way he's physically able to push Sanderson off the puck and make a really good play to the middle of the ice and then finish it off with a really good shot. That's what you want to see. Every time he jumps over the boards, you want to see that Matvei Michkov. And it's going to take him some time because he is so young and still developing. There were times, there was one play in the second period where he brings the puck back into his own zone, and I'm screaming at the TV going, oh no, he's going to lose the puck. He's going to lose the puck. Where are you going? Because he didn't do it with any authority. He just kind of, hey, I got the puck. And that's the concern with Michkov. He still throws the puck away in the middle of the ice. And you don't like to see those turnovers. And there are times when he doesn't look like he's putting in the effort, that he's still on his heels and playing slow. When he puts his weight on his toes and he plays with a little bit of a jump and, like you said, with a little bit of strength, he can do those kind of things. We've seen it. And I think that's why when we talk about him, we want that. Because we have seen it. It's not like he's never done it or we know he does. It's not in his tool bag. It's there. We've seen it. There it was. They do that every time. I don't mean score every time you get the puck. That's not realistic. It means have that kind of an effort. Push the opposing defenseman off the puck, get the puck, and go to the net. Like, do that. And do it more often. And when you don't have the puck, drive to the net and try to find open ice. That's why I think the expectations are high on him, because he can do it. It's just he's got to find a way to do it more often. And again, you look at his ice time, still 14 minutes. He's not playing 16, 18. And as soon as he can do it consistently, he'll play 16, 18. It's all in the ball's in his court. He just needs to play like that more consistently. Happy he got the goal. I think it was a really, really strong goal that showed this fan base what he can do.
Yeah, I did think this was one of his more noticeable games today, where he was more consistently battling for pucks in the offensive zone. Even the penalty he takes on the trip, he's trying to get to a loose puck. He's coming downhill, and right as it might have been Zub, I think, kind of leans on his edge. Misha's stick is there. Like, things happen sometimes when you're reaching for a puck.
Mm-hmm.
You'd maybe win the race if you had a little more burst, but I didn't mind his game. I'm seeing it come along, like he's getting there. When a player comes in to camp a little out of shape, Petey, how does a coaching staff handle that? Like, obviously, they have pulled back on his ice time. Last year, to start the year, Tortorella was giving him like 18 minutes. It ended up around usually 15, 16. This year, it's around 15 as the average, but he's had games with 12, 13, tonight 14, today, I guess. Like, when a guy comes in and it's, man, you didn't have the summer we were hoping you would have, especially a young player. Like, what is the feeling in the coach's room?
It's really disappointing. And in today's, I tell you what, when I first started doing this in the late 90s, everybody came in like that. And I mean, everybody. Yes. It was 2-a-days and let's get all that beer out of you from the summer. It's not like that anymore. The expectation is day one of training camp, you're ready to go. And when you are not, there's a couple things. You're expected to be on the ice early and late, and you're going to get worked incredibly hard. You're going to be in the gym more often. And I've been around coaches, and it might be Rick Tocchet, that would post guys' weight in the weight room. and put it above the scale so everybody can see what everybody's weighing in at. Okay, you're going to come in like this? Okay, let's everybody get a look at what you're doing. Now, I'm not saying that happened in Philadelphia. I'm saying that that's the one that hurts the most, because your teammates hold you accountable now. Like, come on, buddy. Like, we all worked hard over the summer. We want you to. So I do think those camps get to be a little bit harder, but you saw it early in the season. Now your ice time's limited because you're out of shape. You can't keep up with the pace of this play. This game is too fast right now, and you're thrown right into preseason games right away, and then the season starts, and you better be ready. And I think there was probably a little disappointment with that to start this season, but I saw, and you're seeing now, that he's getting a little bit more jump. I really do believe you're going to start seeing that 15, 16, 17-minute ice time coming here through the month of November. I think it's coming, because I do see those little glimpses of good things coming in his game. So I do think the ice time's coming.
I have decided, I believe after Thursday's game, I was talking to Charlie, and I said, listen, yeah, I'm disappointed with the start. I'm disappointed that, like, last year, every time Tortorella would bench Michkov, or there'd be some sort of reason why he wasn't playing, I'm mad at the coach. This year, we have a sophomore. We know he came in a little out of shape. Perhaps there was an ankle injury that prevented him from doing some cardio this summer. I'll choose to believe that. But, like, okay, this is his first summer as a legitimately rich person. Tough year in the NHL. Like, blow off some steam, sure. He turns 21 on December 9th. That is when I'm going to start judging him as an adult. So I'm just hoping he can get there by December 9th. He is where I want him to be, so I don't have to criticize the guy who this thing's kind of all built around. Listen, they drafted Porter Martone. It looks like they have something in Forster, Cates, and Brink. But the high-end star potential guy is Matvei Michkov. They need him to be better than he's been. I think he's getting there. I'm seeing him more noticeable. Obviously, goals in back-to-back games now, but it's like, come on, man. But like I said pregame, Nathan MacKinnon. I don't think anyone ever questioned what kind of work MacKinnon was putting in, but even with his insane work ethic, and we all know the stories, like, he sees a teammate eating Skittles and he's in a fight in the locker room, all of a sudden, like, it still didn't click for him till like year 5. So it's going to take some time. We all have to remember these are young men, but it's starting to come around, and that's making me feel a little bit better about his start to the season, Petey. Who else? Just in terms of guys who I know you're not watching every game as intently as we are, so you're not as maybe locked in on the start to the year Bobby Brink is having and his 8 shot attempts tonight. We've all been really impressed, but I saw you made the note about the shot attempts here with him and Mish and Konechny. What are you thinking of guys like Bobby Brink right now?
I think Bobby Brink is a Philadelphia Flyer, and I think he's the prototypical kind of guy you want wearing the orange and black, because what I said about Michkov over the boards and what are you going to get, I'm not sure this shift. When Bobby Brink goes over the boards, I'll tell you what you're going to get. You're going to get a hard-working shift, regardless if he's defending or playing on the offensive side of the puck. His motor is going. And I know he's not the biggest guy in the team or the toughest guy in the team, but he's going, and he's going to play hard for you. I want him on my team. Like that's the exact kind of player you can put on the ice in any situation and know he is going to do the job you have asked him to do. You need a lot of Bobby Brinks, and you might get 1 or 2 Michkov or Zegrases. You need those workhorses to do the job. You don't win a Stanley Cup. You don't get in the playoffs without players like Bobby Brink. You just don't. And you need your high-end guys to be the high-end producers, and then you need the workers to be workers. And he impresses me when I watch him play. He just does things right, and I like players that do things right. And
the conversation with Bobby Brink a couple years ago was, he's got skill, but does he have enough? Is he going to score enough to really warrant a top 6 role? If he's a third liner, is he going to be tough enough to play in such a role? And this is where I will credit John Tortorella tremendously. Obviously, Brink had to put in the work to be able to do it, and he had to be willing to do it. But now you see a guy who has, like, I never thought 200-foot game would be a thing we say about Bobby Brink, but he wins battles regularly. He throws his weight around when he can, and he still is able to make plays as well. He takes pucks to the net, gets to the hard areas. We have all been really impressed with the start of Bobby Brink, and you look at this team, there's so many wingers, and there's, a couple of them in college and in the AHL still. there's not a ton of centers, but there's so many wingers. Someone's going to be the odd man out. And we've all kind of been like, all right, that might be Bobby Brink. And he has really asserted himself to start the season to be like, nah, it's not going to be me that gets traded. Like that's kind of what we're all seeing out of Bobby Brink. All right, let's get to today's game changer, driven by Elkins Chevrolet. Together, let's drive. I wanted to highlight Trevor Zegras, one, because we have Petey and it's fun, but because there was some really good and some not so great out of the guy they call Ziggy out there. Listen, he helps set up the Drysdale goal. He's making plays offensively, but there are times when you go, yep, and that's why Tocchet doesn't trust him to be a full-time center yet. So if we wanted to break a few of these down, where did you want to start?
We can start. Let's go in chronological order. Let's go against the second goal against. It's a play through the neutral zone, and Zegras is on the ice. And we talk about how important it is to protect the middle of the ice. Here's Tippett. First, Tippett has to stop this play. He's got to get in the way and push it one way or the other. He gets beat, but now Zegras has to control the middle of the ice. He just drifts. He follows the puck. He should be here protecting the middle of the ice. Pass goes through, and it's a goal. He just drifts watching the puck, and it's unfortunate because those little plays, it's not about speed. It's not about strength. It's just about knowing where I'm supposed to be. And I worked with Rick Tocchet. That forward coming back into the zone, it's not your responsibility. Don't go there. Your responsibility is to protect the front of the net so that pass doesn't come through. That's your job. And he just drifts because he's a guy that wants the puck. And when he does get the pucks, things happen. And let's go to the goal 4, where we talked in the pregame about getting shots from the point and helping generate offense from the top. Well, it's not a defenseman shooting from the top. It's Zegras. Zegras gets the opportunity to shoot from the middle of the ice. That's the perfect shot to shoot from. Traffic in front of the net. Rebound comes right to Drysdale, and the puck goes in the net. That's a great, we talked about just getting the puck to the net. That's exactly what Zegras does there. It's not a big blast one-timer from that spot. He just gets the puck through, created havoc. We saw that a few times, and Juulsen did that, through the puck to the front of the net, and they had
Juulsen had a strong game tonight, I thought.
We'll get back to him because he was very, very good. But let's go to the OT winner. And I know Brian Boucher mentioned something about, hey, I put my hand up, I'm okay for a change. But I want you to watch Trevor Zegras on the overtime goal against. And this is where you get overtime is man on man. And right now you look at Zegras and Tippett, and they're both going to the puck carry, and you have 2 Ottawa Senators in behind them. Now it's one pass. That's where Zegras should have been. And that allows Sanheim to stay with the other forward. And it's a 2-on-2 and you're fine. Unfortunately, Zegras chased the puck up the ice again, chasing the puck, which skilled players want to do. And that leaves a 2-on-1 in behind, and ultimately they give up the goal. So it's those type of plays. You want Zegras on the ice in overtime. You do, because you want to see that nifty little backhand sauce that's going to get you in a breakaway and win the game. But you got to defend. If you can't be there to be responsible defensively, you can't be on the ice in overtime. And so you're going to have to, it's still pulling teeth with Trevor a little bit. Like, the offense is there, and I think he's a little better defensively this season than I saw last year in Anaheim. But those are 2 instances that, hey, that's the game. Like that's the 2-0 and the overtime goal that he has to play better defensively on those plays.
Yeah, the first one is, I think he and Tippett just kind of, like, you're seeing him chase the puck a little, and there's you have to just stick to your assignment. I know you want to make a play, but you can't do that. And then the last one, it's that last step before when he says, I'm good on a change, and that little hesitation allows the play to get away from him a little bit, and it gets loose for the winner. All right, on the other side, we're gonna have Charlie O'Connor join us on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line, but right now I got to tell you about Xfinity. Listen, now more than ever, Xfinity is the ultimate sports destination. If you call yourself a big fan, you absolutely have to have Xfinity, because there's no other way to watch all your favorite teams and all the best games all in one place, without any lagging, without any buffering, and without having to switch between a million different apps. And the picture and sound with enhanced 4K is so clear, it feels like you're in the arena. And you can get up to 4 games going at once with real-time notifications and stats live on your TV, multi-view, real-time stats. What else could you ask for? Next game day, Make sure you're a big fan and not a big fail. Learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Multi-view requires Xfinity 4K capable TV box. And while we're here, I have to tell you about Crooked Tea, baby. That's right. Everybody's got their favorite hard tea. It's the hot thing right now. But have you ever turned the can of your tea of choice just to see what's in it? Most of the time you can't because they don't tell you. And while they hide what's inside, Crooked Tea brags about what they've got because Crooked Tea brews real USDA organic tea for real flavor with zero sugar. There's no fake junk hiding behind the label. What you see, it's what you drink. So next time you're at the store, flip the can, and if you can't find the ingredients, put it back on the shelf and get yourself a Crooked Tea. Zero sugar, real tea, fully transparent. Philly recognizes real. Why drink the fake stuff? Crooked Tea, the only thing better might be a strip sack in the Super Bowl. Visit crookedtea.com to find a store near you. And now we welcome Philadelphia's #1 hockey beat reporter, Charlie O'Connor, on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. Charlie, first and foremost, thoughts on the game?
Yeah, it really did kind of feel like a tale of two games. The entire first period was a disaster, and that was the consensus with everyone in the room was that that's unacceptable the way they played in the first. And then the second half of the game, really started in the beginning of the second period, but it really gets going after Michkov makes the great play to score the Flyers' goal. From that point on, the Flyers had full control. Now, obviously, they lose this game in overtime, and I do at some point want to talk about that play because I did ask Rick Tocchet about what happened on the game-winning goal, particularly with Zegras coming off the ice. But overall, if they play the way they played in the final 30 minutes of that game, they're not going to lose many games. I mean, that was a clinic. That was a clinic in terms of forechecking, in terms of puck possession, in terms of defensive zone play. They played great. It's just that the entire first period, they just didn't show up. And that's why, I know they lose this game in overtime, but they lost that game in the first period because then they have to spend the rest of the game chasing because for 20 minutes, they look like an AHL team. Rest of the game, though, they look like a really good NHL team. So just one of those games, right?
Yeah, that was our kind of takeaway as well. Listen, 3-on-3 lends itself to breakdowns. That's why we like it. That's what makes it exciting because it's really hard to cover man on man with that much room, and things happen like this. But it seems like I won't say a formula, but just a pattern for this team. We've seen it a lot recently where you're watching the first 10, 15 minutes of a game and go, what? Are they not out there? And they've had Vladar in the past, kind of had to really wake them up with a few big saves. Tonight they give up the early goals. And I'm going to ask you about Ersson, but I'm not blaming Ersson. I know the numbers are garbage, and I know we've made a joke about this. At a certain point, the results are the results, but I can't blame Ersson for this one. But what is it with these slow starts? Is there anything you can point to?
There's nothing that anybody can point to. And look, that was the question we asked basically every single player that we talked to after the game. It's the question we asked Rick Tocchet. And to Tocchet's credit, he threw himself under the bus. He's like, I need to do a better job getting these guys ready to play. But while obviously some of that is on the coach, most of it's on the players. The players got to be ready just because it's a 1 p.m. start. I think Jamie Drysdale said after the game, it's 1 p.m. start for them too. It's not as if we're playing at 1 p.m. and they're playing at 5. Both teams are playing at 1. You can't sleepwalk through the first period. So it's one of those questions, and this is always a classic Sean Couturier answer when I've asked him these kind of questions for 10 plus years. And he'll just say, well, if we knew the answer, we'd fix it. And I think it just boils down to that. They just need to come out games harder because you're right. This has been a recurring issue. They did the exact same thing on Thursday night against the Predators. Vladar bailed them out. Tonight, I don't think Ersson played terribly, but he didn't bail them out the way that Vladar did. So they go down 2-0. They have to spend the rest of the game chasing.
It's not even they start slow and then figure it out. It's then they don't allow a shot for the second half of the game.
Yeah, right.
It's not just that they started slow and then they figured it out. They dominated the second half of the game. It's very confusing. What is also confusing is just how Sam Ersson consistently has a game where he's better than the number, or at least not as bad as a 769 or whatever he put up today. How do we explain the season Ersson's having thus far?
Look, the easiest way to explain it is he hasn't played that many games. We're still dealing with a small sample, and eventually it will probably even out where he'll get enough games and he'll have some games where he gets some lucky breaks rather than a bunch of unlucky breaks. Because in this game, he gives up 3 goals. those 3 goals are all breakdowns. Like, they're all big breakdowns by the skaters in front of him. Like, would it be nice if he comes up with a miraculous save on one of the 3? Sure, it would be nice. You're hoping for that. But I don't look at any of those plays and say, like, oh man, that's a weak goal. It's just that he gives those goals up, then the Flyers completely shut it down, so he doesn't have an extra like 10 to 12 saves to make his numbers look decent. Instead, they look awful. And I don't come away from this game thinking like, man, Ersson gave that game away. But that's going to be what the numbers are going to say, because there were breakdowns. He didn't come up with the big eraser save, and then the Flyers just locked it down the entire second half of the game.
Well, it's like the first goal, turnover along the boards, cross ice, Stützle puts it in off his mask. Like, Amadio's goal, there's nobody defending the center of the ice, and he's just out for a little stroll, like, pick a spot. And then the winner, it's we just broke it down. Petey did a great job for us. Like, yeah, once again, there's just like a bad switch. Zegras can't get over in time, and then suddenly, backdoor pass like that. Like, what's the goalie supposed to do? He's taking away one side of the net, and the puck's on the other. I know I've given Ersson a hard time, and this isn't one of those games, though, for me. It is literally throw the numbers out, defend better in the first 10 minutes. I don't know what to tell you. Matvei Michkov, Charlie. Goals in back-to-back games. I thought this was one of his most noticeable games of the season, where he was making plays, competing. Still too easy to knock the puck off his stick, I think, but he's doing stuff. And when Matvei Michkov does stuff, it usually results in scoring chances. What did you think of his game tonight?
Yeah, I thought he had a really good game. And we talked to Michkov after the game, and he basically admitted that he was kind of having the weight of the world on his shoulders when he wasn't scoring. That it affected him, that he was getting frustrated, and that Thursday's game, when he finally scored, after he has a terrible first period, he finally scores, and that did loosen him up a bit. It absolutely did, to a degree. And I think tonight you saw it. He looked like he played freer. He played looser. He also just looks faster. He looks like he's moving much better, which again speaks to what we know, that we know that he didn't come to camp in the best of shape. We know that. And we know it takes, a month, 2 months to play yourself back into shape. If you don't show up, in tip-top condition, this would be around the time where he would start to get back into his peak condition. So it makes sense that he's looking quicker. But the real interesting question here with Michkov now, and I specifically asked Rick Tocchet about this after the game, beginning of the year, and we've talked about this, Bill, on the show, that beginning of the year, he's not playing well. It's hard to be like, why isn't he getting more minutes? Obviously, if you just want Michkov to play, then sure, get him more minutes. But we're watching him. He's not playing well. Now he's starting to play well. Now it's like, okay, well, at what point do you start giving him the minutes? I asked Tocchet about that, and Tocchet basically was like, well, he's got to earn them, but he'll get there. He'll get there. So I do think the minutes will come. I think he will see a progressively increasing workload as the season goes on. I just don't think, for fans, it's like, and you know what? Fans have the benefit of having watched Michkov all last year. So they got to see what he can do at his best. And it's like, oh, he's back. Give him 18, 20 minutes a night. For Tocchet, I think it's just going to take a little bit longer for him to fully gain the trust of his coach, of his new coach, because his new coach doesn't have the benefit of having watched how good he can be when he's getting big minutes. That's what I think is going on there. But Tocchet basically said, look, he's got to earn it, but he'll get there. That was the answer.
I want to talk about one of the other forwards that we've been looking at all year, and the guy I like to talk about the most is Trevor Zegras. He played 3 minutes more than any other forward for the Flyers. He gets 4 shot attempts. He gets the big assist on the Drysdale tire, yet he's a -1. And so you're still seeing Zegras. Yes, the good is good, but the bad can be bad. What was your take on him after this one?
Yeah, he certainly makes plays, and he's certainly been very impactful. And again, sometimes you got to take the good with the bad, but there are 2 plays in this game that both lead to goals where I think a lot of the onus is on Zegras. You have the second goal, the Amadio goal. I broke it down initially, and I really thought it was mostly on Owen Tippett. And Tippett isn't blameless on the play, because it starts out with a neutral zone regroup. Tippett's the F1, the guy up top, and he basically just lets them go past him. That is bad work at the top of a neutral zone regroup. But then I'm like, why isn't he back checking harder? Why isn't he putting back pressure on Amadio? And the more I broke down the play, Zegras is the guy who's supposed to pressure Amadio, and Zegras just misses it. Like, he just ends up in no man's land. Tippett peels off to cover the guy, on the right side, which it looks bad because nobody picks up Amadio. and Tippett was close, but that's supposed to be Zegras' job. Zegras misses it. Amadio has tons of time, and then he just can carry the puck into the low slot and score. So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two, and I wasn't sure about this one. I really wasn't sure whose mistake it was on the game-winning goal, because if you watch the play, Zegras is looking for a change. He has his hand up. He's looking to get a change. Nobody comes out, and then he has to race back into the play, and he ends up behind the play. I asked Rick Tocchet after the game what happened, and what Tocchet essentially said was like, yeah, Zegras is looking for a change, but he's got to be more committal. He's got to either like skate hard to get the change or not try to get a change. Like basically his view is that Zegras isn't skating hard enough to get to the bench in time for us not to give up a 2-on-1. If he really wants that change, he's got to push through and he's got to get to the bench so we can send a guy out there. He was moving too slow to justify sending a guy out there to replace him. That was the problem. So yeah, Zegras makes good plays on the good play on the game tying goal. He made a lot of plays throughout the game, but the mistakes are still there, and they're real mistakes that led to 2 goals against in this game.
All right, that makes sense, because we couldn't, on the broadcast, we couldn't tell if he was like hand up for a change or if he's like, no, I got it.
No, he was trying to change. He just wasn't coming in fast enough.
All right, that explains it a little bit better than, okay. I have to ask you about my favorite player, Charlie. It's our guy, Owen Tippett.
Oh.
9 games now, no goals, 1 assist. Like I've said, all right, the cold streaks can be one thing, and I want to talk about Petey. I want to talk to Petey about this as well, like how coaching staffs deal with cold streaks. But like, it just feels like he's not giving them anything after such a hard start, such a good start to the season. I mean, for Owen Tippett, it feels like he's getting some chances. Last game he got a bunch, but I don't know. He seems invisible right now. Is that what you feel?
Yeah, well, I mean, as I mentioned, he was a big culprit on that second goal.
Yeah.
That's just, it's not, he needs to do a better job, because the goal, and Petey can speak to this probably better than I can, but in most systems, the goal of the F1 in a neutral zone forecheck when they're doing a regroup is to angle the play in a certain, whether it's angled to the left boards or the right boards, it's to not let them go up the ice. And that play gets screwed up because Tippett just lets them go straight past them, down the middle, up the neutral zone, and that immediately puts everybody in a bad spot because now they're coming in with speed and they have options entering the zone with control. Like, that's just a play where you have to try harder. Like, I hate to put it in those terms, but like, Tippett's one of the fastest skaters in the league. Like, you shouldn't be getting beat as the F1 in a neutral zone regroup. I'm sorry. And you can make up for it if you're scoring a ton of goals or you're creating a ton of chances. And in some of these games during this slump, he has been. He's just been a little snake bit. This game, though, I agree. He wasn't showing much. It was a poor game from Owen Tippett. And I think the coaching staff does notice it. It may not seem like it based on the ice time, but you going back to the comments that Tocchet made this past Sunday when he was talking about guys not playing with will, and he wanted to see more of a net-focused game. I really think that Owen Tippett was one of those guys. I have a hunch that he was one of those guys where he's like, hey, I need to see you play a less of a perimeter game and get to those hard areas. Stop playing so much on the easy ice. Get to the hard ice. So I think the coaching staff's noticing it. The question is, like, at what point does it reflect in his ice time? It really hasn't yet, but again, we're only 15 games in. If this keeps going, I have to think that at some point it's going to reflect in Owen Tippett's ice time, unless he starts scoring. And we know he's a streaky guy. Maybe he'll get going, and then it'll be an easy decision to keep him out there.
That is going to be what happens. He's going to get one shift in a first period, score on it, and it's like, well, guess what? He's back in. Charlie, last one before Stars, just because Petey and I talked about this pregame. You and I talked about it yesterday. The deactivating. We see it with Jamie Drysdale on his goal today. Carries in, stays low in the zone, buries the rebound. Next shift, I think Cam York did something similar. Got hammered down low, but listen, he made the play. He tried to get in there. We're seeing a little bit more of that. Do you think that's something that they are going to try to push for a little bit more?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think it's something that Tocchet's allergic to. He coached Quinn Hughes. Okay. So he doesn't have a problem with really good defensemen activating and doing things in the offense zone. And obviously Jamie Drysdale, he activates on that goal. That's why he's down there to get that rebound off the deflected puck, because he's activated. So I do think that they want the defenseman doing more. I've liked especially what I've seen from York and Drysdale this year on the back end. So I do expect to see that more. Again, as we talked about on Friday, this team is learning a new system. They're all learning new responsibilities. They're all learning new emphases and whatnot. It's going to take more than 14, 15 games. We're still pretty early into this. And, I specifically asked Rick Tocchet, I believe it was yesterday after practice or before practice, it was an optional, like, in your experience, how long does it take for teams to pick up your system? And he basically said, like, look, it depends on the team. But he said that the year he won the Jack Adams, he benefited from the fact that he was able to use like those final 30 games when he took over the year before as like, this is when I'm teaching the system. And then we can just start next season guns a-blazing and everybody knows what they're doing. This is still in that 30 game mark where they're all still learning. If we get to December, January, and they're still not activating, then you start to think maybe this is just the system he's built for this team. For now, though, I'm ready to say that like they're learning and maybe we'll see more activations as the year goes on.
All right, Chuck, it is time for your 3 stars of the game. Let's hear it. Who is star number 3?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. It really wasn't an obvious star number 3. I guess I'll give it to Christian Dvorak. He does finish with 2 assists in this game. Solid all-around game for Dvorak. Just a usual hard-working Dvorak game where he gets rewarded because he has those workman-like shifts. And eventually, sometimes you're just going to pick up some secondaries because other players make good plays after you loosened up pucks and kept them alive. But to me, I thought there were 2 guys in particular that stood out, and Dvorak gets a 3rd star because sure, why not? He finished with 2 points.
Who is star number 2?
Yeah, I'm going to give this to Jamie Drysdale. Obviously, he scores the game-tying goal. Also, after the game, Rick Tocchet specifically singled him out for praise, saying that Drysdale's actually sick. So he's playing through a bug, and he still finds a way to have an impact in 24 minutes, gets a ton of ice time, scores the game-winning goal. And to do that when you're under the weather, props to you, Jamie Drysdale. It wasn't a perfect game by him, but it wasn't a perfect game by anyone, especially in the first period. But he finds a way to make an impact, still getting heavy minutes. Jamie Drysdale, 2nd star.
I was really hoping it wasn't an illness. It was Tocchet being like, nah, Drysdale's sick, dude. that would be very funny. All right, tonight's first star of the game.
Yeah, first star of the game, Matvei Michkov. And look, he was really good in this game. If I remember correctly, Tocchet said he thought this was his best skating game of the season. But the big thing is that this game doesn't fully turn until Michkov makes that play. Yeah. And I know there are guys that get assists on that goal because they touch the puck. But that was a Michkov goal. I mean, he doesn't have some 3rd pair scrub leaning on him, but below the goal line. He's got Jake Sanderson, a really good 1st pair defenseman, and he uses his shoulder to kind of push him off the play to gain space. Then he turns the corner on him, goes right to the low slot, and rips a really tough shot because he's not in a lot of space. He gets that shot off without a lot of space to shoot. Really good play by Michkov. From that point on, the Flyers just are in full control of the game up until at least the end of regulation. And then he made other plays too. I really like that one play where I thought for sure he was offside, where he circles back, but he did keep his skates on the line, gets the puck and creates a chance. There was a play with like 2 minutes left in regulation. He was out there for that shift. Yeah. He won a really tough battle in the corner, ends up not amounting to anything because his line mates don't do much with the puck, but he worked hard to win that puck in a key moment. Somebody makes a play, and we could be talking about that as an amazing Michkov play. Gets forgotten because nothing came of it, but still a really good, hard work and play. I do think he's on the road to getting back to where we want him to be. He's not quite there yet, as you said, still turning over a few too many pucks for my liking, but it also could be that we're zeroed in on the turnovers because he had the slow start. So now every mistake he makes is confirmation bias. I think he's nearly there. Now it's just a matter of, can he string together, we've had 2 games. Can he string together 4, 5, 6 games? And then from then on, can he convince Rick Tocchet to give him, 16, 17, 18, 19 minutes a game as opposed to 13, 14, 15. But Matvei Michkov, 1st star of the game.
All right, those are Charlie's 3 stars, and that is Charlie O'Connor from the Xfinity Mobile Arena on the Xfinity Mobile call-in line. Go write something, Chuck.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys.
Best in the business.
All right, Petey, I want to talk to you about Tippett and Dvorak and then do super chats, but we got to take one more break. Whether your favorite team wins or not, there's always another way to win on the BetParx Online Casino app. You got to check out all their games. They have great slots like Huff and More Puff, slots based on your favorite shows like Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Peaky Blinders. There's Cash Eruption, 88 Fortunes, Cleopatra, so many different slot options, plus all of your favorite casino classics. We're talking blackjack, we're talking roulette, we're talking craps, poker, baccarat, so many ways to win. And Right now's the time to get in because new users get up to $1,000 casino bonus back if you're down in the first 24 hours. Just go to betparks.com and download the app right now to enjoy all the action and excitement from the casino at your fingertips. You must be 21 and in PA, Jersey, Maryland, or Michigan for BetParks. You love to play. You play to win. You bet. BetParks. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And now we got a little bit of a word from the PHLY community. Well, we want to thank you all for your support. Every one of our listeners, every one of our diehards, subscribers, people who watch us on YouTube, everyone in the chat. We appreciate you, and we're looking to improve our shows and better understand how you listen and what you value most, and that's why we've launched a quick survey. Your feedback helps us shape the content you love to make it even better, and it only takes a few minutes, but it'll make a big impact. Take a moment, head to allphly.com/survey, and let your voice be heard. Respondents have a chance to win a $100 Amazon gift card. We appreciate you. That's allphly.com/survey. Help us out and give yourself a chance to win $100 to Amazon. Everybody wins. All right. Petey, I want to get to Owen Tippett just because you have been in plenty of coaching rooms. You've been on plenty of coaching staffs. Owen Tippett is a very streaky scorer. We have seen it in the past. This year, he started very hot. Now he has no goals and 1 assist in his last 9 games. When there's a guy like this, how do you handle it as a coaching staff? Like, you just know that this is the way it's going to be. You try to get more out of him when he's not scoring. What's the conversation?
It depends. It depends on the player and how you reach that player. And I will say this, and I'm one of the biggest assets of Rick Tocchet is his ability to connect with individual players. He prides himself on knowing how to teach and how to talk to individual players and what they need. He's a great one-on-one teacher. So I am sure he's spending time with Tippett. And now is he being hard on Tippett? I don't think so. And Tippett had 2 good scoring chances in the first period tonight. Unfortunately, after that, he doesn't have a shot on goal in the last 2 periods. And that's where you want to see guys like Tippett with his ability to skate up and down the ice. You want to see him participating more in the offense. Do I think it's going to come? I wish he was getting more pucks to the net. And I don't mean by shooting more. I want to see him getting to the net more. I want to see him trying to carry pucks to the dangerous areas. Sometimes he's a guy that likes to shoot from the perimeter. When he gets to the inside and he can get shots from in between the dots, he's dangerous. It's just not happening enough right now. So, yes, they're going to be patient. Tippett's a good player, and he's getting the ice time. But, again, there's no shots in the last 40 minutes plus overtime. That's not good enough for a guy that's playing with guys like he's playing with. Playing Dvorak, who's a distributor, and Zegras, who's a distributor. Like, you've got to get those opportunities. So, right now, you're expecting more out of Tippett, but we've seen that out of Tippett's game. The consistency of, I don't even say consistency. We talked about streaky. When it comes, it's going to come. But you want to see it more often. And I think there's going to have to be some patience, but at some point, if he doesn't start producing, his ice time is going to suffer.
All right, now Christian Dvorak is a player. You were on the Coyotes staff for 4 of the 5 years he was there, at least according to Elite Prospects. Tell us what does he bring, and what did you see out of him today?
He's a quiet player that does things right. We talked about Bobby Brink's ability to do things right. Bobby does it more with a little more flash because he uses a little bit more of his speed, and he's got that bigger motor. Dvorak doesn't have that motor, but he does the things you need him to do, like win faceoffs. He led all centermen tonight at 67% in the faceoff circle, wins 8 of 12. He kills penalties. He's got a good stick. He's a smart player. He doesn't do anything with a real high pace. He's not going to wow you with his strength and pushing guys off the puck. He is gritty and physical, but he just does little details of the game more on the defensive side than the offensive side. But he comes out with 2 assists tonight because he does things right. He throws pucks at the net. He's on the right side of the puck on most times. He's another one of those guys that I don't think gets the accolades that he probably deserves because they're not the breakaway speed. He's not the hands. They go, oh my goodness, what a great play. He makes a lot of good plays. And good plays are what set up the great plays for the guys that make great plays. So he's a key to what's going to happen for this Flyer team throughout the season.
And that's the, Charlie mentioned the Michkov goal. Like, that's a play Mish made, absolutely. But on both of the goals, Dvorak gets primary assists because on the Jamie Drysdale goal, he he's in front. He's the one creating the chaos. The Zegras shot hits him and bounces right over to Drysdale. And he's also doing work down low that freed that puck up for Michkov to make the play he did. So he's been a hardworking guy. He's been a surprise. The start he's been off to, I think. I don't think many people were expecting a ton from him. But yeah, that was I thought a strong game. And oh yes, Noah Juulsen. I thought Noah Juulsen had a low-key solid game tonight. He's playing with the puck a little bit. He had the big hit in the first period, which was like the only Flyers highlight for the first 20 minutes of the game. What did you think of Noah Juulsen?
We talk about getting shots to the net from the back end. Well, we didn't mention Noah Juulsen. Like we were talking Drysdale, York, Sanheim, get the puck to the net. Juulsen leads the defenseman on the Philadelphia Flyers tonight with 3 shots on net, and he leads all defensemen in 6 hits, and he's the only one that sticks up for himself when he gets hit from behind. So he did it all by himself. I know you're talking about a lower pair defenseman that is not going to be on the score sheet very often, and he's just a guy that kind of gets forgotten. But he played really important minutes tonight, and if you can get him to participate in games like this as your third pair guy that can add a little bit of physicality, that can just throw pucks at the net, he's going to get more opportunities to play. And I think seeing him in your lineup now, it's a daily occurrence now. Juulsen's in the lineup because he does those things, and that's how you need to have a defenseman like that on the back end. Can be Sealer's going to bring that physicality. Juulsen's going to bring that physicality. You want to be a team that's hard to play against, and you need a player like Juulsen. I thought he was fun to watch tonight, and I'm happy he had the game he had.
I'll tell you, when Juulsen had a very rough training camp, and we were just negatively predisposed to the idea of, all right, here's a guy Tocchet coached in Vancouver, and the fans really didn't seem to like him there. Like, this is just the coach's guy. Sure, okay. And really, since he's been in the whole regular season, I've had no issue with Noah Juulsen for the most part. And today, I thought he actually had a strong game. I do want to know, though, what the hell's the penalty he gets called for there? The refs didn't let him at the guy. I guess you can't have your gloves off, but they called roughing. He didn't get to rough anybody. You stopped him. There's no intent to rough penalty.
Preemptive roughing. Yeah, you're right. Let him go. Let him swing him.
Attempted rough. Like, if you're going to take me to the box, let me hit him once or twice.
Let me hit him.
Broke my neck.
I didn't like that hit at all. I know we didn't talk about it all. I don't like that. I don't like that in this league. And I know it's hard, but players, if you see the numbers, please just stop. Don't put your whole body weight into that when you see the numbers. This game is so much faster than it's ever been, and it can be so dangerous. Just stop hitting people on the numbers, please.
All right, and with that, let's get to Super Chats. It is time to see what our listeners have to say. The first one is our pal David Shubb. Says, Bill, can we stop comparing Tippett to Simmer? When Tip's scoring dips, everything else does too. He's not a scapegoat. He's called out because he's mid. I mean, my comparisons are, that's the difference, is that when Simmons, it was always 7 games. That was the thing. I wish sports betting had been legal when Wayne Simmons was in his prime, because it would be 7 games without a goal, and then he'd be hot for 5, always. But when he wasn't scoring in those goalless droughts, he was doing other things. He's one of the toughest dudes in the league. He's creating havoc around the net. He's an excellent leader. He was Wayne freaking Simmons. He's one of my favorite players ever. That's my comparison, is that Owen Tippett doesn't do that stuff. So when he's not scoring, it's very, very troublesome, because you're just giving 18 minutes to a guy who you're hoping will score. Hopefully he gets hot again soon, though. All right. Next one here is another one from David. Next time Tippett heats up, we got to move him. People are so ready to make a trade, and they want to move on from Owen Tippett. I get it. Sure. Why not? Yeah. If somebody wants to come and take the $6.2 million or whatever it is for Owen Tippett, absolutely. But I want something in return. I don't want to just dump Owen Tippett because he's a useful player. It's just very annoying when he's not scoring. I get it. I understand. But there's not a ton of trades that get made in November. That's not really a thing that happens all that much. So you might have to wait on this a little while.
Yeah, and $6.2 million till 29-30. Dude, in 29-30, you know what a $6.2 million contract? That's going to be your 13th forward. That's going to be your extra player. It is.
No, you're not going to have a third goalie for $6 million by then.
Yes, 6.2 in 29-30 is going to be an unbelievable contract. You need second and third line players to win a Stanley Cup too.
No, that was at the time we were like, all right, that's like fair value. It's not surplus value, but I don't think it's killing you. We did not see the cap jumping as exponentially as it have. So now we're looking at it like, I don't know, $6 million isn't really killing you anymore. Like this isn't a thing you really have to worry about.
Right.
All right. Next one here. Oh yeah, we got to go to overtime. Well done, Brenna. Thank you.
Another overtime game. That's all I do, Bill.
PHLY.com to finish watching. All right, as we wrap up the super chats here. Another one from David says Flyers only keep him because he's related to Gritty. Now, we all know Gritty is the result of a drunken night at Rexy's between the Fanatic and Bobby Clark. Come on. We know this. This is the lore I have invented. All right, the next one here from DA Flyers, man. When I said the Flyers should avoid scoring in the first minute of games, I didn't mean they should totally suck for the entire first period. It's to the point where I'm thinking, like, if I didn't have to write these instant reactions, I would just, like, skip the first period of the game. Like, I like go out into my living room. Ava's got like whatever on Hulu. I'm like, we don't have to go in until after the first intermission. Like we can just continue watching this show. But yeah, it would be nice if they played a little better in the first period. All right, next one from JH. Film with Petey. Bill, the pepperoni hoagie was mid. You're nuts if you got the pepperoni sandwich from Wawa and you thought it was no good. I have one like every morning. They're outstanding, but yes, it is always great having Petey here and breaking down a little of the X's and O's. I like those animations. That was fun.
Yeah, that
was good stuff. I am always just speaking with my hands, and I hope people know what it is, what signals it is I'm making, because we're not allowed to show any game footage. All right, that's it. That is it. That's all the super chats. And later today after a loss, but I will still take it. And that is all the time we have for you on PHLY Flyers, presented by Bet365. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for hanging out. If you haven't already, you know the drill. Follow us here on YouTube. Follow us on social. We're at PHLY_Flyers on Twitter. And follow the podcast wherever you get those. Just search PHLY Flyers. Petey, where can the people find your stuff?
Just go to YouTube and go inside the coach's room. And I do a lot of these breakdowns like you saw with those moving circles. I actually do with live video. And you can also jump over to X at @SPetersHockey.
All right. That is it for us today. I am Bill Matz. That is Petey. Thank you to Brenna for producing. Till next time, be excellent to each other. We all silly like